morning, good afternoon, guys. This is Mike with Geek Tavern back with you again. And I am again joined with Sean.
Hello.
And Aaron.
What's up?
And we're back. We're just we like to do lists right now, apparently. We wanted to, we just came to a new year with bringing in 2020, which is weird to say. Hindsight's 2020. But terrible jokes. But anyway, bringing in a new year, new decade even, I guess you could say. So we wanted to talk about not necessarily a top 10, as in like 10 to 1, but a list of 10 of our favorite movies from the 2010s.
From the 2010s.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10s all around.
It's a weird decade to be like the decade of this. Like you have the 2000s, and the 1990s, the 80s. The 10s is weird to say.
The 10s.
The 10s. So.
Yeah, even the 20s sounds natural because of the roaring 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 30s are fine. The 40s are fine.
Know, yeah, 10s.
The 10s is weird to say.
It is a little, doesn't roll off the tongue very well, does it?
No, shouldn't it have more been like the teens?
That could be good.
Yeah, teens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're... Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
because... I mean, but 11 and 12 are not teens.
Yeah.
Neither's 10. So, I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, that's a weird open thought process we just had there. So
a whole other episode.
Yeah.
At one point.
so the decade of the 2010s, it's crazy to think that, it happened so quickly, really. It was a decade where I started the decade and I was out of high school at that point for 2 years even. And I've lived the whole decade outside of going to school. So
lucky you.
Not really.
Ours is fastly approaching.
Yeah. But yeah, so we just want to talk about some of our favorite movies. And I guess we're not going to say numbers, but I guess we'll go with like first movie or whatever. I'll start off this time. One of the, I forget when this one came out. Right after the decade, 2011. Captain America: The First Avenger. Now with Iron Man starting the MCU up in 2008, I wasn't immediately on board. My comic book knowledge was very lacking. I watched the Spider-Mans, the Batmans, stuff like that. But I really didn't know anybody. My only reference for Captain America was the PS1 Spider-Man game where like everybody comes in at the end. I don't know if you guys ever beat that game, but Captain America comes in. They're like flying off, and I don't know what ship it was, but so that was my only point of reference for Captain America at the time. So my friend at the time drugged me to see this movie because I was like, who cares about Captain America?
I think that's what a lot of people thought. Whenever Captain America came out, they're like, oh, who cares about Captain America? I want to know more about Iron Man because it was so successful in 2008. And then it ended up being that Captain America had the best trilogy out of everyone.
Yeah, he really did. But this movie in particular, I still watch it every once in a while. Just the CGI is still pretty good to have like a really scrawny Chris Evans. And then, obviously bulks up after the serum. But I don't know really what to say about the movie. I'm sure most people listen to this have seen the movie. They are aware that it's good. One of my favorites that I mentioned in our previous episode, Tommy Lee Jones is in this. So that was a good selling point for me because I'm legit a big Tommy Lee Jones fan. But anyway, long story short, I think I've seen this roughly 6 or 7 times in theaters after the first showing. So I really like this movie. You'll learn that's a thing with me. Like, if I like something, I'll go watch it. I'll take like one friend each time. Like, I'll take my brother, and then I'll take my sister, whoever else. So, yeah. So one of my favorites of the decade is Captain America, the First Avenger.
It's a good choice. Sure. Piggybacking, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah.
is still, even past Infinity War and Endgame, is still, in my opinion, the best Marvel Studios movie that they have ever done.
I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna argue in any sort of way, but I've never had the appreciation for the Winter Soldier that everybody else has.
See, and I didn't know,
and I don't knock anybody that does.
And I didn't know what it was going to be like going into it. I didn't see it in theaters. I got it for Christmas, and I watched it alone. And at the end of the movie, I found myself alone clapping over the credits, like, holy shit, that was an amazing movie. and honestly, like, another Marvel movie has never done that to me.
Yeah.
So after seeing that movie, I mean, that's got to be one of my favorites of the decade. But yeah, like I said, it was piggybacking on, and what Sean said is true. Captain America had the best trilogy out of any of the other ones. I wonder if Hulk had gotten 2 other movies, if his would have been better.
I still have not seen the Edward Norton Hulk.
You're not missing out on a whole lot.
Well, if that's the case, then I'll just say it now, because it was going to be one of mine as well. Winter Soldier was going to be one of mine. Might as well get it out now, since we're on the topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And I'll do the same if somebody says one of mine. But.
I think that it's amazing. I think it's the best of the 3 Captain America movies. I wish that Civil War was better, because that's what I was really hoping for.
And I mean, I really like Civil War.
I like it a lot, but it's just not as good as Winter Soldier, and I just wanted it to be better. I wanted it to be better than it, and it just wasn't.
So yeah, okay. So I guess it's just back to me. I'll start.
Yeah, I guess so.
Start the round again.
Well, how about this?
I'll
end it and I'll keep going.
Yeah.
So this time I'm going to do a film from 2016. La La Land was my favorite movie of that year. And yeah, it's amazing. It's a musical, and I'm a sucker for a love story, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's a long movie. I've only seen it twice because it is lengthy, but I love it. It's amazing.
I don't think I knew that it was that long, actually.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours long. Or
I still have yet to see it. I love Emma Stone, and it's really surprising that I haven't seen it. But ever since it was out, I've wanted to see it. Just haven't.
Yeah, it's okay. Not my favorite of 2016. But...
Yeah, it's incredible.
I knew it got praise at the time, so
it did. It won the Oscar for Best Picture, but then it actually wasn't.
But was actually Moonlight instead. Whoops. Bonnie and Clyde at it again.
Dang it, Bonnie and Clyde. Do you want to go next?
No, you can go. We'll just go down the line back and forth.
Okay. This one came out in 2014, which that was yesterday, right?
Seems like it.
It is X-Men Days of Future Past. If there's one X-Men movie from the X-Men franchise that is, well, there is another, but
it's First Class.
No, this one I just love this movie. Like, I love time travel. You know, one of my favorite movies of all time is Back to the Future. One of my favorite TV shows, Doctor Who. It's time travel. I love time travel. So this one I can watch it a million times and be entertained.
Yeah, I think I like First Class better in the trilogy.
I do too.
Except upon, revisiting Days of Future Past each time, I appreciate it more each time I see it. Because before I was like, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't as good as First Class. But now it's like, maybe I'll have to really think about it next time I see it, because it is. Yeah, they are very close in quality, I think. But something about First Class edges that out for me just a little bit.
Yeah, for me, it's probably just because I love Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. Like, and there's a great cameo, obviously, in First Class, but just it's basically a Wolverine movie anyway. So that's probably why it's.
Yeah, it basically is just Wolverine.
Yeah,
the movie.
He's the one time traveling. Essentially, not really time traveling, I guess. His mind
consciousness.
Is, yeah.
Oh, are we naming years too when we?
We don't have to. I just did that myself.
Well, you and Sean both did it, so I'm like, maybe I should add in.
You don't have to. If you know it, you can throw it in.
If you're happy and you know it.
Clap your hands.
Is it on to me?
Yep.
Piggybacking once again, 2017's Logan was one of my favorites.
And I'll have to throw in there, that's one of mine later on.
It took the superhero or template and made it a lot more grounded and made it a lot more emotional, which I mean, you heard a lot about Logan, but you haven't heard like anything else like since.
Yeah.
Like, no one's been like, oh wow, Logan was really good, but no one has really paid that much, not attention, but given it the praise that it really deserves.
Like it got high praise when it was out and within that year, but ever since then, like nobody brings it up.
Yeah. No, it won for like best adapted screenplay.
Yeah,
and then no one else said another word about it. It's like, yeah, but it's really good.
Like, I think Hugh Jackman should have got some kind of award for it.
Oh, yeah. And somebody I was talking to said, I really don't like that he died. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's the whole point.
Yeah,
he's been alive for like 300 years. I'm like, he wants to die.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, they're like, well, I don't think he should have like died.
And he wanted to
take what he was supposed to do.
He wanted to take the easy way out, but his quote-unquote daughter, I mean, I guess she is essentially his daughter, but like she's like, no, you're not doing that. But yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot, that movie.
It's the power of it. Like if there is a comic book movie, aside from some others that can be said like this as well, but like this one, you don't need any premise or knowledge of any X-Men movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Prime example, my fiance went with me. She's never seen anything X-Men. Nothing. Like, I had to tell her, like, hey, this is Wolverine. He's a comic book guy. Like,
no,
she knew nothing, and she loved that movie.
And they clear up a lot of that questionability, like, within the first 15 minutes, because everybody's like, well, where's the other X-Men? And they're like, oh, Professor X killed all of them. Yeah. And you're like, oh, well, never mind.
That sucks.
And then, but that's the nice part about it, is because the focal point is on Xavier and Logan.
Yeah.
It's a good point. You don't have, like, in terms of, like, Days of Future Past, there's no possible way you could go into that movie at not knowing previously existing things.
Yeah.
You would be completely lost. But with Logan, you can just jump in.
Yeah.
And just, like, the story is great and you're just along for the ride the whole time.
Yeah, it's just this dying guy who has claws. I don't know what's that about. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a great movie that you can just jump in and watch it if you've never seen or care about X-Men.
Well, since that was one of both of yours, right. I'll continue on.
Yep.
And mine, I'll say one that it was an award winner. We'll say, how about Into the Spider-Verse from 2018?
Yep, that's on my list too.
That's on all three of ours.
Yep.
It's I think deservedly so, because it is. I don't want to say the best Spider-Man adaptation.
No, it is.
But it probably is the best Spider-Man adaptation.
There is no beating around the bush. It is the best Spider-Man adaptation.
It's fantastically animated with complete, innovative animation style. and the story is great as well. Mm-hmm. It's the first time that we get to even really see Miles Morales as a Spider-Man in a major film like this. Yeah. And I like how they dealt with like the all the dimension hopping and stuff like that. Even the comic relief characters, which are kind of annoying at times for me sometimes, like Spider-Ham or Spider-Man Noir, they're just all great in it. Yeah. And, the supporting cast is amazing. And I don't know, pretty much everything about the movie is great, with like an exception of one piece of music here and there. But other than that, I think it's almost perfect.
There was never a low point for me in that movie at all. I was thoroughly entertained the entire time.
I can't.
That is the movie of 2018 that I walked into that movie with absolutely no expectations and came out going, I fucking love this movie.
I unfortunately didn't see it in theater. It was in my weird time when we still had AMC. I had to cancel my A-list. So, like, I didn't go to very many movies. Yeah, so I missed it in theater, but I immediately got it on Blu-ray. And loved it.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yep.
It was quite a great movie. Well, I'm glad we all three had that.
Yeah, I think that it makes sense.
If there's one movie we're going to agree on, it's probably that one. I'll throw another one out there. This one just barely made the cut, being from 2010, and that's Toy Story 3. You want to talk about pinnacles of something in your childhood coming to an end, or an end, so you thought. Yeah, Toy Story 3 was great. I remember a big group of my family and friends. We all went to see it. We all legit thought that they were all going to die in the the pit there. Like we're all pretty teary eyed from that, and so I guess it's that experience that not very many movies hit me in that with that power to actually make me tear up. So
yeah, it was a great ending to a what should have been a trilogy.
Yeah, we'll go into it a little bit. Toy Story 4, like, still a good movie. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's fine,
but it really should have just been those three.
Like, I don't know. As long as Toy Story 4 exists, at least it's good.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah.
Do you think Toy Story 6 will be about Buzz Lightyear turning evil, but then turning back because Jesse did something, and then Zurg will resurface, and the whole movie will be about Jesse and Buzz having to take down Zurg?
Oh, boy.
And it'll just ruin the entire trilogy, the entire latter trilogy.
Well,
if anything, it'll be about Bonnie giving away the toys.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get another Andy.
It'll be Zurg hooked up to a GLaDOS arm.
Yeah. We'll get a little specific there.
Spoilers now. It's way past that time.
Okay. I had talked about this in the... No, actually, no, I'm not going to say that one yet. I'm going to go with a movie from 2010, Todd Phillips' Due Date.
Oh.
I legitimately love that movie. That movie is hilarious from start to finish. It's essentially a remake of an 80s movie with Steve Martin and John Candy called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But Robert Downey Jr. playing Steve Martin's type character and Zach Galifianakis as John Candy's type character is absolutely hysterical from start to finish. And I cannot express how much I will watch this movie anytime it's on TV because it is just hysterical.
Comedies are movies that I primarily do watch, and I have not seen that one.
Oh, it's hilarious. I think it's on Netflix.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
It is really funny.
It is. I love that movie.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah. Definitely recommend. 5 stars.
5 out of 5.
Go ahead and go back to you, Sean.
All right, sure. How about one from 2015, Mad Max Fury Road?
I did like that. It's not on my list, but I did like Mad Max.
Yeah, I saw it a couple of times in theaters. I wasn't really excited for that at all. I was like, oh, it's another Mad Max, it's going to be the same thing. And then it is just visually incredible. And the story is good too. It's pretty basic, but it's pretty good.
Well, because like when you think about it, Mad Max Fury Road has more of a story than like Thunderdome and Road Warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the original Mad Max had the story, but like this comes back like full circle and actually has a story.
Yeah, just the incredible things that they did with visual effects and the stunt work with the cars, I think is just, it's something incredible. It's beautiful looking too, like the color correction, how like the scene with the tornado that they all get sucked up into that. Oh my god, everything's so great about it.
Mad Max was kind of Last Jedi before it was The Last Jedi with letting the old things die. Because in the first 5 minutes, they blow up his interceptor.
That's right.
And I was like, yo, what?
That's true. They destroy his car almost immediately.
And then by this point, like, Max, who is a very intelligent person who was a police officer before, like, the apocalyptic whatever happened, and now he's just like, and I know, Sean, you've told me the theory that he's the feral child from Road Warrior, but like, if it's not, then he's just the most barbaric like piece of shit that he could possibly have become, like in between that time. And judging like by Tom Hardy's age and Mel Gibson's age, it wasn't that long, so like maybe he got like lobotomized or clunked on the head too bad, so like maybe he shouldn't have been driving to begin with.
Well,
good movie though. I mean, I enjoyed it.
I don't have much to say because another one, I've never seen any of them, so it's not like I just specifically skipped that one on purpose.
I recommend it. I think
it's currently in the $5 bin.
Yeah, you don't really need to see the other ones either, so I'd recommend.
Well, maybe I'll pick that up out of the $5 bin. Blu-rays.
$5 bin for a 5-year-old movie.
There we go. I'll go next with another movie. Let me just think. I'll just throw this one in the ether because if you listen
to Thor: The Dark World.
No. I may be a big Doctor Who fan, but just because Christopher Eccleston was in that does not mean it was a good movie. The Star Wars Force Awakens.
That's on my list too.
It's again, like we said on the previous episode that we hope that you all listen to. More so, it was the experience of seeing that movie in the theater. That was my first and so far at this point in time only experience of that kind.
Yes,
where people are literally cheering, like. I don't know.
That's you said everything that I wanted to say about The Force Awakens, and that was on my list too.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of my favorite of the decade.
Yeah.
Well, I guess since you guys both agreed on that one, I'll kick in another one. I'll go with another blockbuster as such.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. We'll go with Avengers Endgame from... Was that 2018?
No,
that was 2019.
This year.
They're all running together. Avengers Endgame from 2019. It was
my list.
It was hard to choose between Infinity War and Endgame, and I think I chose Endgame simply because it was such a great finale to over a decade long setup.
More ceremonious than Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. So this whole thing started over 10 years ago, and we got an entire decade's worth of movies, and I think it was a great end cap to what has become the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, Avengers End Cap.
Avengers End Cap.
Fuck the end cap. No, it wasn't on my list, but I thoroughly enjoyed Endgame. I thought it was a great conclusion. There were a lot of surprises in that movie. Towards the middle, it kind of started getting confusing because like you'd go to one planet and you'd be like, oh, I forgot they even were here.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's got time travel for you too.
Yeah.
Well, it's not on my list, but we'll get to the why.
but I mean, like it's a good movie. It just didn't make my list, and neither did Infinity War.
Oh. Well.
And I'll explain why. whenever the rest of my list comes. But
okay.
They're great movies. They are some of my favorites of the 2010s, but they did not make the cut for the top 10.
Yeah. So I'll just go into it, and we can just keep talking about it. I have Infinity War on my list. This is another one where it's primarily about the experience. It's not so much that people are necessarily cheering, but the moment at the end where everybody gets snapped away, like that's a whole nother type of experience as well. Almost to the it being like Empire, where the bad guy wins. That's another one where the bad guy wins. Like, I don't know. It's just the way that made me feel at the end. Again, was probably under Force Awakens was my second favorite experience in the theater. So,
yeah, it was hard to choose between Infinity War and Endgame, but Infinity War is just as good as Endgame. I think that they're, aside from Winter Soldier, I think that Endgame and Infinity War are the 2 or 3 best, Marvel movies that they came out with.
Yeah.
And, you need that structure from before of what happened to really appreciate them. But
I've known of a lot of people that had only seen Infinity War and Endgame, and they loved it.
I think that Infinity War works that way. Like we were mentioning earlier about Logan, how you can jump in. I think Infinity War works that way, where you can see it and it would still work as a movie. Mm-hmm. But Endgame, that's not going to happen. You at
least really have the knowledge from Infinity War. At least,
you really need Infinity War for that to work for you.
Yeah, if you jump in and start with Infinity War and watch and go through Endgame, you can watch that by itself and not have any other knowledge. But yeah, that's primarily why Endgame was on my list, because the experience of Infinity War.
Okay, here is why they didn't make the cut for me. My movie came out in 2012, and it's called Avengers. Not that I don't like Infinity War and Endgame. I do. Mm-hmm. They're, in a lot of ways, they're better than Avengers. But Avengers, I remember the experience because that was the first time seeing all of those heroes come together on screen at once. And it was a good story. You didn't have the huge looming Thanos as your villain. It was Loki. It was a step below. But it still made for a really good fight and everything. You still had a large scale battle, and then we get into the ridiculous sized battles in Infinity War and Endgame. That all seems like it's kind of smaller, not small scale, but it's a smaller stakes battle that they're doing. But it was the first time they all came together, and there's the one shot of the camera that goes around all of them and plays the Alan Silvestri score, which, by the way, is one of the best themes ever written for a superhero movie.
Yeah.
But no, that's why I put Avengers in, because it without that, you never would have had Infinity War.
No, absolutely. And the only reason I don't look back at that with as much maybe love or whatever you want to call it, not that I don't like the movie, that goes back to a time where I just didn't have the knowledge or the love for comic book stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I started loving Captain America when I saw it, but still at the time, I was still very late to, Thor really didn't happen for me until Ragnarok. I didn't care about 1 or 2.
I didn't care either.
And then I didn't even like Iron Man, any of them. So I was like, they're teaming up, who cares? Hulk, I don't care about Hulk. So I was very much a Captain America guy. So I watched it for that, but I've come to enjoy those movies much more now. So that's why I didn't put it on mine.
All right. Well, I'll stick with it's not really a superhero movie, but it kind of is. Birdman.
I thought about putting that on my list.
Yeah, I was gonna put that on there.
because
you know what? No, awesome. I'm eliminating one and putting Birdman in. Because you know what? You said that, and that just immediately clicked with me. Why the hell didn't I throw that in?
Yeah, it is. So it is great. It's a great story. Michael Keaton. It's just kind of like the beginning of his renaissance of like coming back to movies and things.
Absolutely.
And just like the way it was shot, like it's obviously not a one take thing, but it was cheated.
There was rumors that it was. I remember somebody talking about that.
I don't think it could have possibly been.
I think so.
I think they cheated it, but it looks awesome.
Yeah,
like just like the whole one take thing. It's great. And
and that's that Alejandro Iñárritu's way of shooting. Like, look at the Revenant.
Yeah.
That whole like 5-minute long sequence of the battle. Was one shot, one take.
Yeah,
he loves doing super shit
talented.
Like
That's another good movie.
It is, but I wouldn't put it above Birdman.
No.
Birdman's still. Yeah. I don't know why. We were just talking about Birdman the other day. I think we were talking about it at Christmas. And I was just looking back on it so fondly, and I don't know why it didn't click with me to put that on the list, but it is now. So
I literally bought that movie blindly. I was like, it's like a former superhero kind of thing. Even though he played the character in the movie.
Yeah.
But I was like, and it's Michael Keaton. I'm gonna buy that. So I bought it blindly, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, a Tarantino movie. Came out 2015. Called The Hateful Eight. Very, very good Western Tarantino style movie. Great cast. I love Kurt Russell, so him being in it was a treat. Of course, he died midway through the movie.
I honestly haven't seen it.
But I mean, it's all around just it's really, really long. It's a very, very long movie, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed every minute of it. It's still just as memorable in my mind as it was the first time I watched it. I mean, all around, you just can't really go wrong with that movie.
It's one that I've seen around, and I'm like, I need to watch that.
I would have put Inglourious Bastards on, but Inglourious Bastards
came out in 2000. Yep, yeah. It would have been mine as well, except it came out in 2009.
Yep. Yep, I was upset about that because I really wanted Inglourious Bastards. Because Inglourious Bastards is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, me too.
Going to a weird place for me. Not really a weird place for me, but not one that I think is gonna pop up on people's from the decade, but it's so recent that I love it. And that's the live action Aladdin. My favorite Disney animated movie growing up was Aladdin. So it's almost like finally they did it. It was always like a dream in my head.
See, one of my favorite ones growing up was The Lion King. You want to know what movie really thoroughly disappointed me in 2019? The Lion King.
and you're not wrong. I was very much looking forward to both of them, thinking Aladdin was going to be the worser of the two.
See, that's what I thought too.
Yeah,
but The Lion King ended up being just not good.
And not that we're here to talk about bad things of the decade, but The Lion King, it wasn't even the fact that it was almost a shot for shot, but there was no emotion on the faces.
Yeah, it was soulless.
They made it too realistic. So yeah, that one didn't work. But Aladdin,
Jungle Book worked surprisingly.
That one was good too. Yeah,
because it didn't have emotion either, but it worked better for it, and I don't know why.
Yeah, well, and that's what gave me the hope.
Well, and maybe it was because Mowgli was able to interact.
There was a real person.
Yes,
real person.
And you had somebody expressing emotion to the animals.
Right.
Versus just animals trying to express emotion to other animals, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, in that sense, there was a real person showing emotion, so it wasn't weird that the animals weren't showing emotion.
I'm just gonna say that it was Favreau was too busy working on The Mandalorian for him to actually give a shit about The Lion King.
Years from now, we're not going to talk about the stinker that was Lion King. We're gonna talk about Mandalorian.
Do you remember Sean came with us to see Lion King.
Yes.
Because I was like, let's go see Lion King. He's like, sweet. And then he was like, the fuck is this? we're like, yeah, I don't know, man. And we were all just like, man, this is not hitting.
Yeah. So yeah, Aladdin was, I loved it.
I still need to see Aladdin.
You have not seen it? Okay.
Could have gone. I didn't.
I mean, I'm not going to be mad because there's several that you guys have said that I haven't seen.
Yeah. So I'll hit on one, too. How about, we brought it up. I guess we didn't bring it up this time, but Blade Runner 2049.
I was going to put that on the list, but I think I need to revisit it.
So that one is better than the first?
It's far better than the first.
Because this is my experience with the first one. 5 minutes in, okay, I'm falling asleep. Shut it off.
Yeah.
I have not went back.
Yeah, it's far better than the first one.
Blade Runner is a good-looking movie. Maybe one of the best-looking of its time.
Yeah.
However, its story does not land well because there is nothing to keep you in. At least in Blade Runner 2049, Kay actually is a good detective. I did I say it in the Star Wars one where I said Obi-Wan Kenobi's a better detective than Rick Decker?
Yeah, that's what brought it up, I think.
Yeah, that's he just is not that. The second one is far better, far superior.
I've wanted to see that one just because the trailers look good and whatnot, but
yeah, I mean it's not bad by any means.
Yeah, but that's
I need to revisit it because it was really long.
It's very long, but I really liked it. It was my favorite year of it was my favorite year. It was my favorite movie of 2017. So that's why I threw it on there.
I can't remember what my favorite 2017 was.
That's too long ago.
No, the only movies that I remember seeing in 2017 were Logan, Kong Skull Island, and Blade Runner.
Oh, okay.
Those are the only three that I recall watching. I probably saw a lot more, but that's all I remember seeing.
I've yet to watch Kong. Yeah.
Kong is the best out of the MonsterVerse.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna rally behind Godzilla because Kong is a far more entertaining movie than either of the other two.
Is that one of yours?
What, Kong? No.
Honorable mention.
It was a good movie of 2017. It's not, honorable mention would have been Kong. This movie came out in 2013. Skyfall.
Okay.
Yeah, good one.
One of the best James Bond movies of all time, and certainly the best in the Daniel Craig.
That's the third one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I would have hoped had ended.
Yeah,
on that
it should have been the end, but
they of course can't do that.
That one could have been on my list. I forgot that was within the decade.
I loved Skyfall.
I saw that in theaters, and the night before, me and my buddy sat down. He's like, "You need to watch these." So we watched the first two.
I borrowed it from a guy I worked with.
Yeah. Because
I had watched Casino Royale when I was in 7th grade, and then I saw Quantum of Solace my freshman year of high school. I went by myself to watch it, and then I didn't see Skyfall, and later on, a buddy that I worked with, he's like, "I'll bring you Skyfall, you can watch it." And my dad hadn't watched it either, so we both watched it, and we both agreed that was the best James Bond that they've done in years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Skyfall.
I very much agree with that. Obviously not on my list because I forgot, but...
Same thing with Birdman with me.
Yeah.
For some reason I just forgot, but it is a really good
movie. I mean, I could probably,
eliminate
take the Aaron route and eliminate something, but...
Well, the one I eliminated was
a stretch.
more deserving to be eliminated for it. And I'll tell you why.
But my two are pretty important, I think, in the... As you all have probably realized, mine is very comic booky. But the two I've left are very important, I think. But the first one of which we'll talk about is Guardians of the Galaxy.
I had that on my list. I removed it.
Yeah. So I guess either way, we're talking about it.
Yeah. I actually switched out Guardians for Spider-Verse. That was the one where I said, wait a minute, there is one that I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
And I swapped it. But I understand where you're probably coming from, and I'll chime in.
Yeah, just the fact that, nobody knew who these characters were.
Exactly.
And it was just such a, again, I don't specifically remember like moments in the theater about this, but like just the sheer comedy that was on the screen, and it was just a fun movie, surprising because nobody knew who they were. Without that, I don't think we might have gotten the Thor Ragnarok. Like it wouldn't have the same tone, comedy aspect of it.
Deadpool too. Deadpool, I think, had a big hand in Thor Ragnarok's.
Well, let's just throw it out there. Deadpool's my last one.
Fourth wall breaking comedy.
Those are good ones.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
So my list is now done, but
Guardians. Before
Yeah.
you go, I was gonna chime in about Guardians.
Yeah.
I walked in with absolutely no expectations and walked out feeling like I watched a Star Wars movie, and I was like, that was a ton of fun. It was a space adventure that had characters that all had chemistry together that worked too well that you were like, that movie should have never worked because nobody knew these characters or anything. It should never have been as successful as it was, yet it is one of the most highly regarded of the franchise.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to sub out one of mine with Guardians because reflecting on it, I saw that movie 7 times in the movie theater. I saw it probably the most amount of times I've seen any movie in the theater. And I love every minute of it. It's such a great movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
I don't know how that worked.
But continuing with Deadpool, I'm curious how it's going to work now that Disney owns it.
It's probably just not.
If they're just gonna like keep it how it is.
He said, Ryan Reynolds said that they're keeping an R rating.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Well, you know why? Because they're not gonna slap Disney on.
It'll still be under
It'll
the
still
Fox.
be under Fox because Fox is still a company.
Yeah, they just own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fox can still technically do the same thing.
So it might be fine, but
Hopefully.
Deadpool was on there.
How many times did you see that in the theater?
4 or 5. I can't remember, but just the amount of, oh my god, they did that.
Yeah.
Wait, they just said that? Like it, the stuff on the screen was unbelievable. My favorite is, we gotta go see the professor. Ooh, is it Stewart or McAvoy?
Yeah, these timelines are so confusing.
Yeah.
I saw it twice in the theater, and I didn't hear that joke the first time.
Yeah.
And the second time
My
I
buddy
heard
missed it too.
And I was the only person that laughed in my movie theater. Oh my.
But yeah, I mean that one's another one. It's just, you don't have to know anything. I mean, obviously that joke's not going to work if you don't know anything, but overall, you don't need to know anything to jump in that one and to know that, to enjoy that comedy.
But so I have one that is a foreign film.
Oh.
By the title of Shin Godzilla.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just recently watched this. When was that? 2 weeks ago?
Shin Godzilla I watched because I found it on, and actually Sean and I both watched it for the first time at his house because I found a link to it because it wasn't on American release DVD.
Okay.
I watched that movie, and as much bureaucracy like that they showed that you have to go through in Japan and all the political jargon, that movie was one of the best Godzilla movies I have ever watched.
Yeah, it's really good.
It showcased, and it's directed by, or written by Hideki Anno, who wrote Neon Genesis Evangelion, which echoes a lot of the, we have to do this, and then they have to go through a chain of command. But I enjoyed that a lot because that's actually how it works over in Japan. Like, they don't have a military, so they have to go through like all of the red tape in order to launch an attack on something. So when they're completely taken off guard that this giant creature has surfaced and is destroying part of their city, they have to make a choice on whether to risk citizens' lives by launching an attack on this thing or just wait for it to go away. And they let it go away, and then it comes back way worse. But I mean, like, the visuals in it, Japan has had a long history of not doing well with CG. And in this movie, the Godzilla is entirely CGI'd. And
really?
Yeah. And,
that's convincing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I thought that some of it was, like, puppeteering and suit work, but...
Nope. They dropped all the suit stuff because it was getting too costly. And too time consuming.
How is that more costly?
Well, it was getting too time consuming with doing all the puppetry and getting it right. Yeah. Whereas they could just animate it. With the exception of a couple of scenes where the CG doesn't look as great, everything else looks fantastic.
Fooled me.
The visual of Godzilla destroying all of Tokyo with his fire beam was insane. It was the most amount of power I've ever seen Godzilla use. And to clarify, this movie's a reboot. This isn't a sequel or anything. This is a reintroduction of Godzilla.
So, like, he's never appeared before
kind
of thing. Yeah.
So, and it still has that underlying tone of nuclear contamination and everything and how he came to be. And actually, this movie won the Japanese Academy Award for Best Picture in Japan the year that it came out. So... I mean, it's not just a great movie over there. I hold it in high regard for one of my favorites of the 2010s.
I mean, I enjoyed it. It was very jarring. I was like, what the hell is that baby Godzilla? But...
the evolutions were really cool.
I mean, yeah, it definitely got cool. And what was that? He had a new power, I forget.
Oh, the beams out of the spine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I gotta clarify. I was like half watching it, like we were kind of babysitting at the time, so I was only half watching it. But what I seen, I enjoyed. I do own it. I just haven't sat down and watched it front end. But yeah,
good choice.
Yeah,
knew there had to be a Godzilla.
I had to throw that one in because that's one that really stood out to me more so than the 2014 or the 2019 movies. That one just really stood out to me.
Well, I'll throw this one out there. It's a recency bias thing for me. It was my favorite movie of this year, 2019,
Mine too.
Which is Knives Out.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That was my last movie on my list, was Knives Out.
Okay, yeah, it's incredible. The writing, if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend it. It's a murder mystery, except it's a little different than regular murder mysteries. And
where they tell you what happens.
Yeah, exactly. You know what happens from the beginning, and you kind of have to go through everything. But I thought that was really engaging, and a new take on whodunit, which you don't really see those in movie form anymore, very rarely. Which, I thought seeing another one was refreshing, and just the subversion of expectations of the notoriety of Rian Johnson worked extremely well in this one.
Yes. Very well.
This is a peak form for him, I think.
It is. It definitely was in my top of the decade. Leaving that movie, I was like, this was great. And then even after watching my favorite franchise's conclusion, I still said Knives Out was my favorite movie of the year.
Oh.
All right, well, I guess I'll get to my last one out of the way then.
Okay, yeah.
It's a 2015 film, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. No. That's not it, actually.
Yeah.
Well, that's disappointing.
I'm going to go with Baby Driver.
Good choice.
That was, what's his name? Can't think of it now.
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright's.
Shit, I should put Hot Fuzz on mine.
Was Hot Fuzz?
No.
Yeah,
from 2010?
Yeah.
Was it?
I think it was 2011.
I changed it to Hot Fuzz because that is the best Edgar Wright movie to ever come out.
There's no way. Hold on. We got to do some fact checking here.
I'm pretty sure that Hot Fuzz came out.
I don't think so.
No, maybe 2009.
Yeah, it had to have been 8 or 9. 2007.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that it was.
I knew it had to have been because I watched that with my ex, and that was a long time.
Well, since Hot Fuzz is out of the running, Baby Driver.
Baby Driver is back on the Baby Driver's back on the menu today. So the soundtrack. It's another thing, kind of like James Gunn, where the movie was kind of written around the soundtrack that Edgar Wright had chosen. And it just the story of this getaway driver, trying to live a regular life. It's really compelling, and visually it's pretty great. I just liked everything about it.
So I'd like to change mine since you said soundtracks written around a movie. Suicide Squad 2016.
Yeah. That's an instant classic right there.
Instant classic.
Hey, it's definitely not top of the...
No.
I like it, though.
No, but so the omission that I made was Joker.
Okay.
While it was a good movie, and I like Todd Phillips, Spider-Verse had to knock that out.
Yeah,
actually, Birdman knocked out Joker.
Oh, okay.
Which
yeah, I mean, I don't dislike Joker, obviously, but I mean, I don't know.
I enjoyed Joker. I thought it was a well-made movie.
Yeah.
But as soon as you said Birdman, I was like, yeah. This one's got to go.
Well, I think that was a great look back at the previous decade and, movies we liked. Obviously,
of the decade.
It's not a comprehensive list by any means, but things that stood out to us. But let's move on to things that we might be excited for of the new coming year.
Nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't have that much.
There's not a ton.
Yeah. 2019 was a great year for movies, though.
It was.
Yep.
So welcome World War III with open arms, because cinema's not going to get better than what it was.
Yeah, hopefully...
Martin Scorsese was right.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to get a couple of good ones in 2020, but do you guys have anything that you're really looking forward to?
With the exception of Godzilla vs. Kong, not really. I mean, Wonder Woman and Black Widow.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Maybe the Bond movie.
Yeah, Bond.
No Time to Die.
I think it's going to be a mess, though, because it has Rami Malek as the villain, and they're also bringing back Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty crowded, I think.
Oh, my. I'll just run down. Like, these aren't necessarily ones for me. I just thought maybe we throw our thoughts out there. Birds of Prey.
Yeah, I don't really care. It looks better than Suicide Squad, though.
Ewan McGregor is the villain, which is a selling point for me.
Yeah.
I will see it. Yeah. I'm just not super hyped for it.
I've been betrayed by trailers before, though.
Well,
so
yeah.
So Terminator Salvation.
Oh, man. I forgot that was even the thing. That was pretty recently.
We all tried to forget about it.
Tenet, that one.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a trailer for that
yet. It looks good. It looks really good.
I was briefly in a band called Tenet.
Oh, yeah? Well, there you go.
I mean, Wonder Woman is a thing that's coming.
Gal Gadot. I'll go watch anything with her. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. The obvious hit of Bad Boys 3 or 4. Or whatever. Which one is it?
Bad Boys for Life. I think it's number 3, though.
Okay, yeah.
I just don't care.
I love Will Smith, so I might watch it.
They brought Martin Lawrence back from the dead.
I thought you were going to say Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, they brought Lawrence Fishburne.
Like you did when we were playing Fallen Order. Is that really Lawrence Fishburne? No, that's Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, side note about that I forgot. Or no, that's a different game. Never mind. So we talked about this a little bit before recording. Sonic doesn't look terrible.
No, I will see Sonic.
I'll see it simply because of the extreme effort that the people made.
They spent like an extra $5 million or something.
It's kind of I hope that it's gonna be like the Cats where they lost $70 million.
I know a lot of people have checked out of this franchise a long time ago. But Fast 9 comes out.
Yeah, I do not care.
Hobbs and Shaw is alright.
I have not seen that yet.
I think that I'll go see it just because it's absurd now. It's the absurd.
I mean, John Cena's in it. Why would we not see it?
I didn't know John Cena was going to be in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was in the last Transformers, too.
Bumblebee.
Well.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, I know we all said that.
Why isn't a new Transformers coming out this year?
Michael Bay's making other crap on Netflix instead.
Oh.
By rebooting those Teenage Mutant Alien Turtles.
Yeah.
I didn't hate those. You guys may disagree with me, but I don't hate those.
I said that because
a lot of
they were
people
supposed
didn't.
to originally be aliens in this franchise.
A lot of people did not.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
That would have been really awful if that was been the case.
But no, I actually like the second one more than the first one, which is I know.
I did too. Yeah, I like the second one more
because it reminded me of the old TV show.
Rocksteady and Bebop were great.
Yeah.
And Brad Garrett playing Krang.
Yeah.
Which Brad Garrett hasn't done anything in like 10 years. So they dusted off his coffin and resurrected him to play the voice of Krang.
Apparently Morbius is supposed to be out this year.
No, with Jared Leto.
Yeah.
I don't care.
What is that?
It's a comic. It's he's from the
Spider-Man.
MCU.
Yeah. Bloodshot.
Yeah.
I will watch.
Is it an MCU movie?
Mm-hmm.
Morbius?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's in the MCU.
Okay.
But it's like
I was completely unfamiliar with it.
He shows up in like the animated Spider-Man TV show.
Is he connected to Moon Knight at all? I should.
I have no idea.
But I don't.
Not in the Spider-Man show. I know that because I watched it pretty recently.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. I don't hate Jared Leto. So
what other movies are on there? Free Guy.
Coming to America 2.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
I'll watch it.
Eddie Murphy's back.
Yeah, thank God.
James Earl Jones better be in there and still alive.
He is.
Is
Don't
he?
worry. Yeah. Oh yeah. James Earl Jones is still alive.
No, I know he's alive. I just meant his character.
James Earl Jones had a new line in Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah.
One new line of dialogue.
The Harrison Ford movie,
Call of the Wild. Yeah, I'll watch that.
I'm looking forward to The King's Man.
Yeah, The King's Man. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I think that'll be good.
Oh, the Minion movie.
Yeah, Minions. The Rise of Gru.
Gru Walker.
Venom 2.
Girls.
Yeah, Venom 2.
Venom 2.
It's directed by Andy Serkis, so
I'm excited, but I did not care for the first one.
Oh, really?
It's cautious optimism.
That first one did not land.
The only thing I didn't like about the first one was the ending credit scene with Woody Harrelson. Because it was really weird and...
Oh, where he looked like Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
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 In his clearly fake ass wig.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bad.
It was bad. It was not good.
I would have rather that he had like stringy like red hair that like kind of like how he had in Solo, but if it had like hung down in front of his face or something and he looked like Rob Zombie or something. Instead, it looked like somebody went to Spirit and they're like, I need a red wig. And they're like, okay. And they hand him a clown wig. And he goes, well, it'll have to do. And then they brought it back.
And he combs it like downward.
Yeah, they like cut it up and like combed it all weird. Yeah, it looked weird. It looked bad.
It looked bad. And, and plus the throwback to the Ninja Turtles, the fact that the end of Venom is so laughable with Eminem doing his Venom, 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 which like just immediately took me back to Vanilla Ice doing the Ninja Turtles rap. Because that movie didn't land for me to begin with, but when the Eminem started doing the song, I was like, yeah, I'm out. I was like, and I fell asleep during that movie too.
Oh wow! So
that movie was kind of really boring for me.
Yeah, it was all right.
All right, I stand alone on that one.
it was fine. It just did not hit for me like any of the other.
I am excited simply for Andy Serkis. I think I want to see what he does with it.
Yeah.
Huh. I would say a Star Wars movie, but we don't have one coming.
We need a break from Star Wars.
Yeah.
After
we need to recharge new season of Clone Wars.
Yeah, we do have new Star Wars things coming out.
Content, yeah.
And then obviously in fall we'll have season 2 of Mandalorian.
I'm sure we'll get new Star Wars things throughout the next decade, though.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna get quite a few announcements, I believe, at Celebration.
Yeah.
Even before, I think.
Yeah.
I think they said they're supposed to announce what the new trilogy is this February.
Oh.
Rian Johnson's trilogy.
No, this is Favreau and
Filoni I would be totally fine with a Rian Johnson trilogy.
Me too.
I think people would come around to it.
Yeah, I would love a space whodunit.
That'd be good.
Because that would suit him so well.
Yeah, that would be really good. But, yeah.
Honestly, if Rian Johnson had directed Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, it may be the best Star Wars. I will go on record right now saying that if Rian Johnson directed Attack of the Clones, it might be the best Star Wars ever made.
And there we are. It all comes back.
We'll just leave it at that. All right, so thank you guys for listening to another episode of Geek Tavern. Yeah.
Keep an eye out for our, anything that might be coming out from us in the next year.
Yeah.
The very near future.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Later.